Good morning, friends. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day, y'all. Halfway through the week. Woot woot. Kelly, good morning. Welcome in. Sue, good morning. Leah is in the house. It's a big day for our friend Leah. I'm so excited. Angie, good morning. Buenos dias, Paloma. Welcome, welcome. This morning, guys, I'm going to be working on a little tote bag. It's one that I'm just kind of winging it. I like to use these little bag bases. I get these from the Zon. And they come with these holes in them, and then you just crochet right into the holes. So the yarn that I'm using today is cotton, 100% cotton. This is mercerized cotton. And I know y'all are sitting there going, well, what's the difference between mercerized cotton and regular old cotton? Right? Does anybody know the answer to that? I know the answer. I'm going to share it with y'all. Julie, good morning. Mom is in the house. Hey, Mom, good morning. Welcome. Karen, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. Rita, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Mello in the house. Good morning. Hey, Bailey. Good morning. How is everybody? Uh, Paloma said, I had a dream last night about making your bag pattern, Leah. All right. I know it's a big day. It's a big, big day. Hey, Karen, good morning. Welcome in. It's a big day for our friend Leapin' Llamas. It's pattern release day, which is always so exciting. So we're going to talk about that, of course, in a little bit. Justine, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Nicole as well. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Cheryl, good morning. Papa Wheeler's keeping his eye on you all. Well, I'll try to be good. I can't vouch for the rest of our friends here in the chat. Crochet police in the house. So, yeah, I'll better be good, you know? Karen equals cool nanny. All right, I'll try to remember that, Karen, but that's a tough one for me. So, Queen, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the luckies. I appreciate that. Grandma Paula, good morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for the heart me. Anyhow, this bag we're working with today, guys, I'm using Lion Brand 24/7 cotton. This is a mercerized cotton. It is considered a 4 weight, and I'm using a G6 hook this morning. Hey, Gen X Purple Heart is here. Good morning, Jen. Welcome. Deborah, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. Right now, I'm doing a little crisscross stitch, a little crisscross double crochet. I like this stitch. It's a really nice stitch. I use this a lot for my baby blankets, but I thought it would look nice for this tote bag. So I just wanted something kind of subtle. I wanted it to be like solid, but then have kind of a little accent texture. So what I'm doing is I'm using the charcoal color, and I started that with the bottom. Now I'm excuse me, I've moved to the silver color, and next we're going to start with this pink. So I've got a few more rows to do here, and hopefully we'll get to the pink this morning. The good crochet fairy did not come and work on my bag. Dang you, crochet fairy. I will say the crochet fairy was working on other stuff. There's a lot of squirrels happening over here, a lot of things, little distractions. MJ, good morning. Welcome in. Taryn, good morning. Thank you so much for the go popular. Jess, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow, my friend. If you are new to the channel, guys, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And we do a lot of crochet stitch talk around here. Yesterday we worked on a market tote. We're kind of have a market tote week, I guess you could say. Old Wheeler over here is kind of burned out on blankets. So I'm kind of mixing it up with some tote bags. I've been working on some hats and just kind of mixing it up, trying to keep things fresh because I don't want to say I've lost my crojo, but I just kind of burned myself out with making so many blankets. So we're just taking a little break. We did work on a tote bag yesterday. This one I really enjoy making. So the difference between what I was doing yesterday and what I'm doing today is I'm using a different type of cotton. So the cotton that I'm using right now is called mercerized cotton. And some of y'all may have seen that in the yarn places as you go and look at different yarns. The I love this cotton is a regular cotton. Uh, Things like peaches and cream, lily sugar and cream, those are all regular cotton. The mercerized cotton, it kind of has, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can get my hand to focus here a little bit. it almost has like a braided kind of effect with the yarn. So it's kind of like a twisted strand in how they are making it. And the difference between mercerized cotton and regular cotton is how it is manufactured. So I can't remember all this from my brain. So I did my little cheat sheet here. So I'm going to read y'all some stuff about this mercerized cotton. Mercerized cotton is stronger, shinier, smoother, and less prone to pilling or fading compared to unmercerized cotton. It makes it ideal for durable, structured projects like bags, coasters, and garments, whereas unmercerized cotton is softer, matte, and more absorbent, better for washcloths and delicate garments. So, best for mercerized bags, market bags, home decor, summer garments, intricate doilies, coasters, and jewelry. So, because we're using this strand that has like this really kind of solid structure to it versus another cotton that isn't mercerized, the unmercerized is more like a twisted strand. This is kind of a three-way here. Um, Here you can see this one is attached to my bag, but also this is unmercerized. So this yarn is very soft in its cotton. This one is kind of more rigid in how it is manufactured. So it's very interesting. Pros are high sheen. You can kind of see the sheen on that bag with that. The yarn almost has like a, well, I guess it's a sheen. I don't know what else to call it. It's kind of shiny, but it's not like super shiny. It kind of looks like a luster almost. Um, Vibrant colors, strong, less shrinkage, and less lint. Now, here are some cons for using mercerized cotton. It can be stiff, crunchy, and may feel wiry. Now, I will say this Lion Brand 24/7, it doesn't feel real stiff and crunchy to me. It's got an okay texture. It doesn't bother my hands. Kazzy, good morning. Welcome in. Debbie, good morning. Both Debbie's in the house over on YT this morning. So it I really like how it has the structure. So when I use this mercerized cotton is when you think about like making more like a purse or a tote bag where you kind of want it to be more structured. This one I have a base on it and it kind of holds together better, right? It's a little bit um more rigid, I guess you could say, in how it is manufactured. So it's kind of cool. It says it is treated with a chemical backed sodium hydroxide under tension, which causes the fiber to swell and become smoother. So that's kind of a little bit about this yarn. If you were wondering what's the difference between mercerized and unmercerized. So this morning we're using mercerized, which is why it kind of looks shiny, has that sheen to it, and just is kind of a little more rigid. So if you're using, if you want a tote bag that's kind of more rigid and structured, like a purse, a handbag, a backpack, things like that, I tend to go for the mercerized cotton. So I basically started out and I did a slip stitch all the way around the base. Then I started doing my crochets and I got bigger and I started with single crochets to kind of keep it flat here as I'm working around. And then you've got your little foot pegs so that it can sit whenever you take it somewhere. Now I'm just doing a very easy alternating stitch. So what we're doing right now is we're doing crisscross double crochets, so that way it kind of gives it just a little bit of texture. I didn't want it super full of holes or anything. And then I'm alternating with two single crochets in between those crisscrosses. Okay, so crisscross is a very nice stitch. And I'll talk through that here. Let me get this one finished and we'll talk through how I'm doing this little crisscross. Sorry, while I was talking about all that cotton, I missed a whole bunch of your comments. So, if the mods have not answered your question and you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand, ask your question again, and I will do my best to answer it. I know we had a lot of new friends pop on this morning. So, here we go with our crisscross. Yes, crisscross will make you jump, jump. Okay, enough of that. Enough of that nonsense, Miss Leah. All right, here we go. We're going to skip one into the next. We're going to do a double crochet. So I yarn over, go under both the front and back loop, and I pull up a loop. So we have 3 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So very easy, double crochet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to pick up that stitch that we missed. So this stitch right here is the one that we skipped. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to pull my hook back and I'm going to put it underneath the front and back loop and I'm going to go all the way through my project. Okay. So we're out the other side now, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, as you pull up this loop, very important, you're going to want to pull this stitch up a little bit taller. Okay. Make sure you're kind of bringing it up to the height of your other one. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through two and yarn over and pull through two. And now we have successfully crisscrossed our double crochets. So here we go again. Let's do a few more of these, talking through how we're doing these. We're skipping one into the next double crochet. Okay, now we've got to come back, pick up this one right here that we missed. So again, yarn over. I bring my hook down. I go under the front and back loop all the way out the back side here, pull up a loop. Again, when you first come out, that's going to be kind of tight. You'll see as you pull out, your hook is going to be kind of pointed up in the air. What I like to do in this situation, I will bring the tip of my hook up, and thereby I will almost flatten out my hook so that it's horizontal against my work. Okay, so you want to get this front loop here to come up a little taller. If you do it, if you don't pull it up tall enough, what's going to happen is your stitch is going to get kind of scrunched. Uh, Leah is pinning where you can get these bottoms. Okay, that's verbatim where you can get them and what they're called. I use a 12-inch by 4-inch size. They have other sizes as well. Okay, but 12-inch by 4-inch is what I like for like a larger size purse or a tote. Okay, we're going to skip one into the next, and we're going to do our double crochet. Sherry, I am live this morning, both on TikTok and on YT. At some point, we'll probably do one of these from the start. I have a lot of questions about how I start the bases. So down the road, we will do one where we start from the very beginning. Okay. Yes, I'm making a bag this morning, Dee. We're working on a bag. That's the bottom. Here's the inside. Now, forgive me, I haven't woven in some of my ends. That's what the inside looks like. So we're working with mercerized cotton this morning. It's a little stiffer cotton, but it kind of gives it a nice little texture as we're doing it. Okay, so now we've got to pick up this stitch that we missed. So right here, we're going to yarn over. Again, we need a double crochet. I'm going to go under both the front and back loop and pull up a loop. Now, again, I keep reminding everybody to pull up tall here as you're making this stitch. Let me show you what happens if you don't pull this stitch up tall. We're going to yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. What you will find as you're making these stitches, do you see how this one has kind of a nice flow through here? And this one is very tight. It almost will cause this stitch to kind of lean that way, lean to the left, does a little lean back action. That is what happens if you make that stitch too tight. So a lot of people get frustrated when they make this stitch because they're not pulling it up tall enough and it doesn't look good. And they keep saying to themselves, well, why is this looking like this? Everybody else's looks so nice. So the secret to this, let me pull this back out. We're going to do a little frog in this morning. The secret to this stitch, yarn over, again under front and back loop all the way through, pull up a loop, pull your hook up, pull the tip of your hook up so that your crochet hook becomes horizontal with your hook. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So when you get that front leg of that stitch nice and loose, that's going to make your stitches look oh so beautiful. Okay, so we're going to skip one into the next double crochet. Thank you so much, Kazzy. Kazzy said, this bag is looking so pretty. Thank you. I can't wait to get to the pink. I can't wait to get to the pink. KY, good morning. Welcome in. Nice to have you here this morning. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is April. I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And I stay on live for right now either 1 or 2 hours. I'm working in Arizona. I live in Alabama, so I have a little extra time in the morning right now with daylight savings time. Arizona does not observe daylight savings time. And as per the norm, we are live this morning both on TikTok and on YT. So if you happen to be at home and you want to watch over on the big screen, you most certainly can. You also can always rewatch the live replays over on YT. They're published back out after I get off the live. So if you saw something, you're like, oh, I really want to make that stitch. How did she do that? You can always go back and rewatch those. So when you're looking over on YT, um, my handle is the same, Wheeler 8 Acres, same for all of the socials. And as you look at the channel over there, we have a category that says shorts, there's a category that says videos, and there's a category that says live. So, what you're looking for is the live tab, and you can always go back and rewatch those if you've got to get the kids off to school, get off to work yourself, hop in the shower, whatever those morning things are that cause you to miss out. So, anyhow, yes, Miss Kelly, I certainly can. Kelly asked a great question. Can you explain the yarn type? So, the yarn that I'm using this morning, guys, is called mercerized cotton. And I'm sure a lot of you in your yarn travels have seen mercerized cotton. And you've asked yourself, well, what's the difference between mercerized cotton and regular old cotton? What's the difference between I love this cotton and mercerized, right? You've seen that. And so the difference is how the yarn is manufactured. And I think of this, is anybody familiar with macrame cord? Macrame cord is also, I believe, kind of along the lines of a mercerized cotton. And it's hard to see this, but let me see if I can put this up to the screen here. Um, the way that the yarn is manufactured is it's actually like woven together. So they take the strands and it kind of has like a woven effect in the strand itself. So mercerized cotton traditionally can be a little more stiff and rigid. However, it works great if you're looking for something on your bag to be a little more rigid. So if I'm making like a purse or a handbag and I want it to kind of hold its shape better and not be quite so floppy, I will use mercerized cotton. So you can see this still has some flex to it. It is a little rougher on my hands, but not really. It doesn't bother me. Um, but yes, Brigitte, yes, it's almost like a cord. So I did print out a little blurb here that I've been reading for um, y'all to kind of learn about mercerized cotton. It works great if you want to do like a purse or a tote bag where you want it a little more rigid and not so flowy. And it just gives it a little more structure, I guess, is the best way I could explain that. Okay. So if you want your bag to have a little more structure to it, mercerized cotton is a great way to go. And I highly recommend this 24/7 cotton that I'm using today. It's really nice. So, mercerized cotton is stronger, shinier, and smoother and less prone to pilling or fading compared to unmercerized cotton. It makes it ideal for durable, structured projects like bags, coasters, garments, whereas unmercerized cotton is softer, matte, and more absorbent. So, unmercerized is better for washcloths and delicate garments. So, if I make like a bralette, okay, I do not use mercerized cotton because this would be rough against somebody's skin. If I am making a bralette, I will use something like I love this cotton. It's a softer cotton. It's a little more pliable and it just feels nicer against your skin. Okay. But if you want something for like a tote bag, like I'm making today, the mercerized gives the bag more structure. Okay. So that is really the biggest difference. And mercerized kind of has like a shine to it, like kind of a sheen. And so it kind of gives it a nice little shiny effect as well. Okay. The yarn that I'm using today is Lion Brand 24/7 um, mercerized cotton, and I get it from Lion, from their whatchamahoozies. Okay, so in this case, I am using, yes, Kaz, I'm using 3 skeins. I started with charcoal. Now I have switched to silver, And then the top of my bag is going to be pink. Okay. So I'm going to have like a gray and pink yarn situation happening here. And I'm going to do my handles in pink. I don't know if it might take 1.5 for my pink. I don't know. I've never made this before. So we're kind of winging it. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm doing a row of crisscross double crochets. Then I'm following with 2 rows of single crochets. So what that does is it kind of puts a flat spot in between your texture, and it gives it that really cool kind of effect. So it makes the texture rows kind of pop out, but still be kind of subtle. Okay, so I've joined with a slip stitch to my very first stitch here. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a row of single crochets all the way around. So I should be able to answer more questions now. We've been doing a lot of stitch talk and yarn talk this morning, so I know I've missed a bunch. Thank goodness for our moderators who are helping out this morning, Miss Leapin' Llamas. As I work on these single crochets, guys, very important. I know y'all stitch marker. Write it down. April used one. I like to mark my first stitch out. Okay, my first stitch. That way I can keep track of where I'm going to end at. So all I'm going to do now, guys, single crochet all the way around. And I need to do that for 2 rows. So I have to give a little shout out to our fabulous moderator, one of our moderators, Leapin' Llamas. Our friend Leah here. It's a big day in the Leah household because our friend Leah is releasing her pattern today for the Choose Your Own Adventure tote bag. And we are going to work on a Choose Your Own Adventure tote bag tomorrow on the live. Allie, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Um, and Holly, good morning. Welcome in. Eleanor, good morning. Yeah, very exciting day for our friend Leah. I'll show that tote bag here in just a minute. The really cool thing about this tote bag that I absolutely love, and the reason it is called the Choose Your Own Adventure tote bag. Y'all remember those books from when you were a kid? Um, they basically, it says, if you want to jump off the cliff, turn to page 11. If you want to jump in the hot air balloon, turn to page 10. You know that whole thing. Yes, Amy, I do a yarn under. I'm a yarn under kind of gal. So very good eye. A lot of people don't pick up on that. There's no right or wrong way. If you want to do a yarn over, that's what most people do. But I do a yarn under for all of my crocheting. So anyhow, with the Choose Your Own Adventure tote bag, I'm gonna show it here. Let me get it. Let me stop yapping and get the thing, girl. Show the friends the bag. This is Leah's tote bag that she has put out the pattern. She's releasing it today. This is the Choose Your Own Adventure tote bag. The puppy is real big now. Somebody's asking about the puppy. Mr. Diesel is over there asleep on the couch. I get to crocheting and he's no longer in my lap. He's a good boy now. He likes to do a little sleep, and I hate to even say his name. He might come over here. So I kind of wanted to do spring colors. The fun thing about this tote bag, and we're going to do this tomorrow, is it has a really nice crochet sturdy base. So that is a really fun thing. Some of the other mesh tote bags that I've been doing on the live don't have a base. So when Leah saw me working, she's like, girl, you need a base on those bags. I'm going to make you a pattern, or a pattern, not for me particularly, but I'm going to make a pattern that has a really cool crochet base. So that is what she did. And then the handles are done with single crochets. And so part of this pattern is the bottom and the handles stay the same. The Choose Your Own Adventure part is what you do in the middle. So I have done the part where she did the mesh middle. Okay. The other ones that she has so far is a V stitch and a granny stitch. Okay. So if you want to change the middle, she already has it 3 different ways. And the cool thing is, Miss Leah is going to continue changing the adventure and give us more chapters. So she's already working on other middle parts of the bag where we will be able to change it up. And you could use any colors. You could use a variegated for the bottom and do your middle in solid. You could do all one color. You could even do it the way that I'm doing it, where you do a solid color, change to another solid color, and then the top be a solid color. So many possibilities with your yarn. So we're going to be doing this bag tomorrow. This is another example that I did. This is all unmercerized cotton, but same thing. I've got my solid bottom. Look at how it totally changed the whole look of the bag with this beautiful like purplish blue. So anyhow, a lot of fun. We're going to do this tomorrow. She is releasing her pattern today. So she's pinned right there. If you want her pattern, definitely go onto her page and do the things so that you can get the pattern. She'll share all the information, but we're going to be doing that tomorrow. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. All of her patterns that I have made are absolutely fabulous. You guys know me, I kind of wing it, and I'm not dedicated enough to be doing any of that writing pattern stuff. So I am always so proud to call her my friend because her crochet, and she also knits and has knit patterns as well. Absolutely incredible work. So I'm very excited about tomorrow. So check it out. And I know that you will not be disappointed. I really want to make it in the V stitch also and the granny stitch. Shoot, I want to make it in all the adventures. So anyhow, congratulations to our friend Leah. Super proud of you, girl. And I know everybody's going to love your pattern. So tomorrow, 7:30 Central, we'll be live again on TikTok and over on YT. And we're going to start from the very beginning, talking through that bag. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have enough time to do the entire bag on Thursday. So you know what that means. We will have part two uh, the following week, and we will be able to rewatch those videos over on YT if you need some help with how that thing is constructed. But it is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So, this bag that I'm making today, back to our bag at hand, our current work in progress. This is a tote bag that I'm making. There is no pattern. I am just kind of winging it with my stitches. Right now, I'm doing a single crochet stitch. And so I started with single crochets here at the bottom. I did work into a base. This is a 12 by 4 base. The mods will explain where you can get something like this. And I crocheted into that base. Now, at some point, I've had so many people request how to help with starting the base and getting that going. So we will at some point have that on the live as well. The yarn that I'm using today is called mercerized cotton. So it has a little sheen to it. It basically, in my mind, it's almost more like a corded cotton rather than cotton that has like plies in it. And the Moswell pin where you can find this yarn, it is called 24/7 mercerized cotton. And I'm using the colorways charcoal. Right now I'm using silver, and we're going to change to pink here in just a little bit. So right now I'm doing a row of single crochets. So as I did this bag, I just picked a couple stitches. I'm not following a pattern. I am doing 2 rows of single crochet, so you can see my single crochets, and then I'm doing a crisscross double crochet. So that's all I'm doing. Very simple, and I'm just working my way up, and then I'm going to throw some handles on it when I get towards the top and call her a bag. So it's just a really nice, easy way to do it. You don't necessarily always have to like follow a pattern. You could rebel it up a little bit, you know? So, Super Nana, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. Cassie, thank you for the heart me as well. Cassie has been visiting us over on YT. Now she's over on TikTok land. How about that? So, appreciate your support. Thank you so much. After I get done with another row of this single crochet, we're going to switch over and we're going to start with the pink. So right now, guys, I'm just doing a row of single crochet. I've had a lot of questions this morning about what is the difference between mercerized cotton and unmercerized cotton. It's one of those terms that you hear or you see on labels, and you're like, "What is this?" Hey, Hannah. Good morning. Welcome in. Um, so the difference between mercerized cotton. I'm going to read from my little paper here because it's a lot for me to try to remember and articulate in a nice fashion. Mercerized cotton is stronger, shinier, smoother, and less prone to pilling and fading compared to unmercerized cotton. It makes it ideal for structured projects like bags, coasters, and garments. Whereas unmercerized cotton is softer, matte, and more absorbent, which makes unmercerized better for washcloths and delicate garments. Okay. So the texture of mercerized cotton, it's more like a woven cord, is the best way I could try to explain this yarn to you. As you can see there, it kind of has like a cabling effect in the yarn itself. It's kind of hard to see, but you see how it has that shine to it. It's almost like woven strands together. And so it's very strong, and that's why it doesn't pill or stretch as much. It's a really nice cotton to work with. Now, sometimes people will say it can be a little rough as you're working with it. On the other hand, I'm fine with this particular. I use the Lion Brand 24/7 mercerized. I do have an order in for Hoblob to try some of their mercerized, which I have not tried before because it is SALE week over there. So I figured I'd get some of that and maybe try it as well. But it's really nice. Now, here's the thing, guys. If I was making, let's say, a bralette or something that is going to sit on my skin, or if I'm gifting it, is going to sit on somebody's skin, I would not use mercerized cotton for something like that. It would be really rough against, and that would be kind of irritating to my skin. Jen, thank you so much for the roses, my friend. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping out over on YT as well. I appreciate you being here. It's kind of a busy morning for us. Um, in that case, I would use something like, I love this cotton where it's softer to the skin. Okay. If I'm doing something that's like a purse or a backpack or a bag, something like that, mercerized cotton works better for that because it helps to maintain that structure of the yarn and really hold its shape nicely. Marla, thank you so much for the roses. Julie, thank you so much for the hand hearts. I appreciate that. Karen, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, new friends. Right now, I'm doing a row of single crochets. We have one more row to go here. I just joined right here with a slip stitch. And yes, crisscrosses, you need an even number, Susie. Very great, very good question. With your crisscrosses, you need an even number of stitches. And once I get done with this row of single crochets, we're going to switch over to the pink. So just another easy row of single crochets. Mercerized cotton is in how it is manufactured, Ambrosia. Basically, if I kind of hold it up here, you can kind of see it's almost like I would explain it as a cording. If you're familiar with macrame cord that you would use for like making planters or anything like that, it's kind of like that in how it is manufactured. So it's an unmercerized is more like a twisted strand. Okay. So if we look at whatever this lily, see how this is like a twisted strand where they twist the plies together? This is called unmercerized. So it has to do with how it is manufactured. But mercerized is really good if you're going to do like a purse or handbag or a tote bag. It has a more structured feel to it. And anyhow, I really like it for tote bags and stuff like that. Now, I do use a lot of unmercerized as well. You know, I'm a fan of, I love this cotton and all of those. And I love Premier Home Cottons, all of that kind of stuff for like washcloths and whatnot. Yeah, it almost looks braided. It does. It has like if I tried to pull this apart, like I don't know that I could pull it apart. I guess I can. It just is, there's something about it that's different. So basically, let me see if it says here. Key decision factors for home decor and sturdy items, choose mercerized for longevity. For items requiring high absorbency, such as washcloths, use unmercerized. Appearance, choose mercerized for a shiny finished look. unmercerized for a soft, natural, matte appearance. Okay. So it has to do with um, the look of it. Comfort, unmercerized is generally better for garments worn next to the skin. So again, like if I'm going to make a bralette or something like that, or even a what do you call it, like a blouse or something, I wouldn't use mercerized for that. Yes, Paloma, great example. Like a basket for the home. If you're going to make a little basket, like a coin basket or a little backpack or something like that, mercerized is a great choice for that. Yes, Hannah, very great description. Mercerized for decorations, unmercerized for functional and wearables, right? Wearables. So Ambrosia said, "I'm just starting out and I learned something valuable today." Well, that's great. That's why we come on here to talk about crochet and whatnot. Friends, if you are new to the channel, thank you for all the new followers this morning. I will let you know I am not a professional crocheter. I am a hobby crocheter. I have been crocheting for 41 years. I learned from my fabulous mom, who is in the chat. Well, I don't know if she's still in the chat. She might have had to go off and get her a little breakfast this morning. But Mama Wheeler is who I learned from. And her mom, my grandma, is who I learned to crochet from all those many, 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 many years ago. I turned 50 this year, this past year in 2025, and I learned when I was 9. Um, However, I have learned a lot along my journey of crocheting. I'm constantly learning new things, and I like to come on TikTok and YT just to kind of, kind of share some of that information that I've learned, and maybe inspire somebody to crochet or take up the craft, if you will. Crochet is something that cannot be done by machines. It's something that has to be done by hand, and it is up to all of us, I feel, to pass it along. So just like my mom and grandma taught me to crochet all those years ago, I hope to come on here and inspire somebody to maybe take up crochet, or maybe you haven't picked up your hook in a while. You could get back into it, you know? So maybe it's the yarn that inspires you. A lot of questions about the yarn today. The yarn that I'm using today, guys, is Lion Brand 24/7. I am using the colorway charcoal, silver, and we're going to be switching very soon to that pink. And so it's a fun yarn to work with. This is called mercerized cotton. So a lot of cottons, when you look at them, they are kind of have more of a dull matte finish, right? If you look at the lily, sugar and cream, peaches and cream, um, the I love this cotton, a lot of premier like home cotton. Hirschner's has a cotton that's unmercerized. All of those have kind of more of a matte, dull finish. And the mercerized tends to have more of a like sheen to it. So that's why as you look at it, it kind of like has a little shine that's coming through. And it's really a pretty yarn to work with. Mercerized cotton is manufactured different than unmercerized. So if you think about a decoration around your home, right? I almost equate it to macrame cord. If anybody's done macrame and you're familiar with macrame cord, how that is manufactured, it's kind of manufactured the same way. So it's more of a like cord, I would say, than like a twisted strand of yarn, although it is still twisted. So it has to do with the chemicals that they use when they manufacture the yarn. It is treated, I'm reading now from I did the great Googler to help me out with some tips this morning. Um, Mercerized cotton is treated with a chemical bath of sodium hydroxide under tension, which causes the fiber to swell and become smoother. So it is a little bit different. The pros, it is a high sheen, luster, vibrant colors. It's very strong and has less shrinkage and lint. Nobody wants shrinkage, right? Where's my friend JT? Um, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want our projects to be shrinking as we're sewing them, right? Or putting them together or washing them, all those things. And we don't want a bunch of lint. So these work great if you're working on something that's like a pot that you're going to have next to your end table that has, nail clippers or earrings or something, right? This is a very structured type of yarn. Um, Also, if you're going to make something for around the house, so if you're thinking like a decoration or something, that mercerized is a great situation for that. In this case, I'm making a tote bag. So we want it to be kind of structured. It still has that beautiful sheen, but it's a little more rigid and durable, I think, than an unmercerized cotton. There's nothing wrong with using mercerized cotton for bags. I use it all the time. This is just another little option. Okay. So I use this a lot when I'm doing these bags that have the structured bottom like this. The Moz will share where you can get these. And at some point, we're going to do one of these on the live and I'll show you how to do the crochet into them. Okay. But it makes it so that your bag has a really nice sturdy base. Forgive me, I haven't woven in my ends in there. Those dirty little ends need to get woven in. So anyhow, it's just a really nice option for that. And then I like to pair it with the mercerized cotton because I feel like if I would like characterize it, it's a more structured cotton. Some sewing thread is mercerized and makes it stronger. Oh, Deborah, very good. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. I have to just send props to everybody who's always here watching on the live. Y'all are a wealth of knowledge. I say all the time that I'm not an expert. I'm learning all the time, right along with you guys. So I appreciate that. It's awesome when you bring your knowledge to the chat as well. So I really appreciate that. We have such a knowledgeable group. We have a whole bunch of experts, crocheters, knitters, all the things, right? So, anyhow, yes, mercerized cotton. But hopefully, I've opened your eyes this morning to the world of possibilities with this yarn. It might be a new little thing for you. Some of you are like, oh, I use mercerized all the time. I know all that. So, good on you. I don't use it a ton, but when I'm making these bags, I really like the feel of mercerized for these bags. So, I'm almost to the end here. And we're going to be switching to the color pink. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to get to the pink. I've been working on this gray. I did charcoal. This is actually called silver is the colorway. And the next one is literally called pink and it is pink. So, we're going to be switching colors. So as I'm finishing up this row, basically what I'm doing is like a 3-row repeat on this, guys. I'm doing a crisscross double crochet, then I'm doing 2 rows of single crochet. Then I'm going back to my crisscrosses. So when I switch to the pink, you can see right here where I switched from the charcoal to the silver, I did my 2 rows of charcoal, and then I started with 2 rows of the silver, and then I went to my crisscross. So right out of the gate, we're going to start with 2 rows of the pink. Now, as I do this stitch, again, I'm not following a pattern, guys. I'm just kind of winging it. So if you want to use the crisscross stitch like I'm doing for this bag, what you need to remember is it needs to be worked in even numbers. So the crisscross is worked with 2 crossed double crochets. So I'm going to go ahead and snip off here and we're going to be done with the silver. We'll weave in this tail later. Leave yourself a long strand that you can weave in. Okay. So this is how we're looking. You can see where I was carrying the yarn up across. So you can see right here was my seam and right here was my seam. I'm going to probably do the pink kind of in this area right here. We'll shift it over a little bit and we'll get that started up. So let me get this yarn open here and get a new skein out. Oh, what are you doing out of my box here? My microphone magnified to my scissors. Anyhow, if you buy packs of 3, these are sold individually, but you can, if you buy 3, they come 3 in a pack like that, so they store nice. Look at that pink. Can you see the shine on it? We're probably gonna have some yarn barf here, y'all. Look at that pink, though. Oh my gosh, the sheen, the sheen. This is the part I've been waiting for. I'm so excited. Hang on, let me deal with this yarn barf here. Mama Wheeler and the team, all the love out there. Look at that. Guys, we're going to be working on another tote bag tomorrow. Our friend Leapin' Llamas, Miss Leah, her pattern drops today. She can share all the information. So if you are interested in making the choose your own adventure tote, we're going to be making that tomorrow. Let me show again the tote bags. We'll be back at 7:30 tomorrow, and we're going to be making, this is the choose your own adventure. The pattern has the same bottom and same top. The choose your own adventure part is what you put in the middle. So you can, in this case, I did mesh. She also has a V stitch, and she says also a granny stitch. Okay. And she's working on developing more chapters. So we will be able to have more and more options for this bag. So it's a really fun bag. I'm super proud and excited for my friend's pattern to drop. So we're going to be doing one of these from scratch on the live tomorrow at 7:30 Central Time. And we will also be live on YT as well. That way we'll have a little replay action. Here is another example of the bag we're going to be doing tomorrow. This is a different colorway, but really, really pretty. So again, we're going to be doing the mesh of the choose your own adventure. Obviously, I'm not going to have enough time to get through the entire bag in one go. So that means next week, we are also going to be working on the tote bag as well. So again, this is the choose your own adventure that our friend Leap and Llamas, Leah there, you can see her with her little dumpster fire icon. That's another one of her patterns. Really, she does beautiful patterns. And give me back my yarn bag. My bag stole my yarn. So, Polly, you definitely can line the inside of your bag. I don't know if I'll line this one, to be determined. Right now, I'm just kind of crocheting a bag, and we'll kind of figure it out from there. But yes, you most certainly could line your bag. My nose is running, y'all. Everything's blooming over here. Okay, so Francis, let me talk about this yarn. Let me get started here. We're going to be doing 2 rows of single crochet. Again, this is the colorway pink. And this is Lion brand 24/7 mercerized cotton. Okay, so for all the tote bags, I recommend a cotton yarn. So I know some people make tote bags with acrylic. I always use cotton. I don't know that I've ever made a tote bag with acrylic. The reason why I choose cotton, a lot of people ask this question. Cotton, look at that pink. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the part I've been waiting for, is to get this pink action. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Again, I'm just doing a single crochet. Okay, we're doing a single crochet all the way around for 2 rows. Then we're going to go back to doing that crisscross. Um, the reason I like to do, excuse me, hang on, let me get a little drink here, y'all. I'm getting a little hoarse this morning. I've been yakking too much. Hey, Shan, good morning. I know that pink is just going to be what do you call that? The pièce de résistance? I'm sure I said that all wrong. But yeah, it's going to be like, oof, so pretty. Hey, Maggie, good morning. Little Red, good morning. I have had this yarn tucked away in the stash, y'all, for probably 2 years, wanting to make this bag. I have been noodling on it. I go in there sometimes and I'm like, oh, I should really make that pink and gray bag. And then I'm like, oh, let's make a baby blanket instead. So I literally have had this yarn for a couple years, and it's a great yarn. So we're talking a lot today about the difference between mercerized cotton and unmercerized cotton. And somebody asked what the yarn is. This is a mercerized 100% cotton. Mercerized cotton is manufactured differently than unmercerized cotton. And traditionally, the mercerized, you see how this yarn kind of has that like sheen to it that you don't normally see with cotton yarns? That is because it is mercerized. So how it looks kind of shiny, that is how it looks in person. And actually, it probably looks shinier in person than the camera is even able to pick up. So that is one of the characteristics of mercerized cotton. And if I hold it up, you can kind of see how it has almost like a braided effect on the yarn. And that is the difference in how it is manufactured. So when I think about, am I going to use mercerized cotton versus unmercerized, I think about the application. Okay. So if you are making something for around the house, like a decoration, if you're going to make a flower pot, if you're going to make a little change jar, if you're going to make a little basket, if you're going to make a bag or a backpack or a purse or a tote bag, something like that, mercerized cotton works great for those applications. So think of it like as a yarn for like a decoration or something like that. Unmercerized, I would use that more if I'm going to make a clothing article. Okay. So if I make like a bralette, right? I've made a bunch of Kelsey's bralettes in the past that go up against your skin. I typically will use something like I love this cotton that is an unmercerized cotton. It is softer. Okay. If you're going to make something that is like a washcloth or a dishcloth and you want it to be more absorbent, okay, so if you're going to use it in the bathroom or the kitchen, you're going to want a yarn that is unmercerized because it is more absorbent. It'll pick up the water and the moisture better than a mercerized cotton. So those are kind of the characteristics that I look for when I'm thinking about what am I making? What's the application? A lot of people have probably seen mercerized cotton and you've probably passed it by because I'll be honest, I passed it by for a long time because it's like, huh, what is that? Why would I want to use something like that? So I got off my lazy butt one day after I had been off in shopping land, and I said, I'm going to do some research about what is the difference between mercerized and unmercerized cotton. And after I did my research, it was like, oh, so when I make all these bags, it would be better if I use mercerized. The little light bulb went on, you know? If I'm making something for around the house, I probably should use mercerized. It's going to have more structure, it's going to be more rigid. But if I'm making something that's like clothing that's going to be up against my skin, we probably don't want to use mercerized because it's a little rougher. It's not super rough. It's not bothering my hands. It's not like tree bark or anything, but it has more structure is basically the way that I would explain this. So the official definition of mercerized cotton, I went to the great Googler, so let me read my paper to y'all. I'm just doing a single crochet right now, guys. We're changing to the pink color. We have 2 rows of pink we're going to do. Then we're going to do more of the crisscrosses, okay? So mercerized cotton is stronger, shinier, and smoother and less prone to pilling or fading compared to unmercerized cotton. It makes it ideal for durable, structured projects like bags, coasters, and garments. Whereas unmercerized cotton is softer, matte, and more absorbent, and better for washcloths and delicate garments. So I know that said it's better for like garments. When I think of garments, I'm thinking like if you're going to make an over sweater that's not something that's going to be like on your skin, that's the type of garments that I think. Okay. Mercerized cotton is best for bags, market bags, home decor, summer garments, intricate doilies, coasters, and jewelry. I never thought about jewelry, but a lot of jewelry makers use like a cord or something like that. So again, very cool options for this yarn. Pros, it has a high sheen and luster, vibrant colors, strong, less shrinkage, and less lint. So when I feel like, the Lily Sugar and Cream, you see how that has like that fuzz on it? It feels more linty. I know some people have mentioned when they use a yarn that is unmercerized, it just like gets so linty. I don't know how else to explain it. When you use I love this cotton, right? It's like, oh, well, it's kind of linty. When you use mercerized, it doesn't feel like that. Okay. So it feels very different in your hands. And it gives your bag, in this case, a very polished and finished look. So I really like that part of using mercerized when I'm making like a tote or a backpack or something. Some of the cons, it can be stiff or crunchy and may feel a little wiry. Okay. So again, it's kind of giving more structure to this bag. Of course, we could come back and line it as well. But you can kind of see it still flows, right? It still has that flow, But I really like to use mercerized cotton when I use these bottom bases, okay? So it can sit on the, floor or whatever. It kind of gives it a little structure. The mods will share where you can get these bases. At some point, yes, I will do a live of how we use these bases, how we get the yarn woven into it and everything. And you can see I just started out here with single crochets and then I switched to my crisscrosses just to kind of give it a little texture. Okay. So mercerized cotton is treated with a chemical bath, sodium hydroxide, under tension, which causes the fiber to swell and become smoother. So that is basically what it does. It's in the manufacturing process, but you can see basically mercerized cotton looks like cord. It almost to me looks like very thin macrame cord, but it works great for these bags that we're making. So, unmercerized cotton is best for. So, when you think of unmercerized cotton, you're thinking of I love this cotton, Lily sugar and cream, Peaches sugar and cream, Premier home cotton, all of those, right? The things that you're thinking of, like you make your dishcloths with, that kind of stuff. Okay, that is unmercerized cotton. Is best for dishcloths, hand towels, baby items, and soft matte finished apparel. So if I make a bralette or something like that, I will use unmercerized cotton. Okay. The pros of unmercerized cotton is it's very soft and comfortable. It has a matte texture, high absorbency, affordable, cushiony feel. Okay, so it's comfortable. The cons of unmercerized is it's more likely to shrink. It's less durable. It will fade over time and it tends to pill. Okay, so it's very linty. If you want your bag not to have a bunch of pills on it, mercerized, what we're using today, is the way to go. So, the characteristics of unmercerized is it's a natural cotton with no extra processing, offering a more rustic, matte look. So, here we go in summary. Mercerized is best for use in home decor or sturdy items for longevity. If you want something that requires high absorbency, like a washcloth or a towel, or if you're doing something that's going to go against your skin, you want to be sure and use an unmercerized cotton because it's more absorbent. Okay. As for appearance, I'm just joining here with a little slip stitch, guys. We're all the way around. I need one more row of single crochets. So here we go. Start again. Now, here we go with our stitch marker. Okay. You want to mark your first stitch out here so you can remember where you started, especially when I'm talking. I tend to forget where I'm at. Appearance. Choose mercerized for a shiny finish look. See how it has that sheen to it? Choose unmercerized for a soft, natural, matte finish or appearance. Generally, for comfort, unmercerized is better for garments worn next to the skin. So, did y'all learn something today? I learned a little something today. But anyhow, I learned this a while ago, but I did print out my little cheat sheet because it's a lot for me to try to remember and articulate. So what we're using today, guys, is called unmercerized cotton, and it almost looks like cording. Right now, I'm doing a single crochet all the way around, and we are working on a tote bag. Okay, so I started with charcoal, I switched to silver, and finally, I am at the pink, and it is really just everything. So my handles will be pink, all that stuff. Queen said, I want to try cotton bamboo blend yarn. I have one of those that I got. I think it was a bee, one of the busy bees, super bees, yarn bees, one of those. But I don't know that I've made anything with it. I think it's just kind of in there chilling. It is very soft and nice. I like it a lot. I don't know. I have to do more research on like applications for the bamboo yarn. I know it can be a little pricey, which is probably why I only have a couple skeins. So I have to figure out uh, why I'm what I want to do with that. Bye, mom. Have a great day. Love you. Thanks for hanging out with our friends, chatting it up. I appreciate it. So anyhow, I'm excited to get to this crisscross. I do want to try the bamboo. I just haven't figured out the correct application. Hooked and Happy says, I love cotton bamboo thread. Great for wearables and have a nice drape. Oh, nice. Thanks, Hooked and Happy, for sharing that little tidbit. I appreciate that. Patty Bears, good morning. Welcome in. I've been here, Patty. I am trying to stay on for 2 hours. We'll see how this morning goes. I've been on for an hour now. So, oh, is mom going thrifting? I hope she finds me some crochet hooks. That would be fun. That would be fun. Hopefully I'm using a G6 this morning, Miss Paula. A G6. You know, I love me a G6, 4 millimeter for those that go by the millimeters. G6 4 millimeter. This is 100% cotton that I'm using today. And I didn't look to see, I'm sure it's machine washable and dryable. Let me look. Machine washable and dryable. Yep. 100% cotton. 4 medium weight. Yeah, it's a really nice yarn. I really like it. Uh Mika, I'm just made this pattern up. I'm not really following a pattern. We're working on a tote bag. So I grabbed one of my bases. The mods will share where you can get these. They have holes in them like this, and then you weave your yarn through, and it has the little pegs for the bottom of your bag. They come in all different colors. I've got a whole bunch of these. So I just grabbed one of those and I did a slip stitch around the base, and then I worked into that slip stitch. And then I just did a few rows of single crochet to kind of get it started. And then I'm doing a crisscross double crochet followed by 2 single crochets. I'm just repeating that. So I'm not really following a pattern. I'm just kind of doing my thing. And anyhow, right now we're doing 2 rows of the single crochet, and then we're going to do crisscross double crochets. So that'll be next. We'll talk through how to do the crisscross double crochets. I just wanted something that had a little texture, not too um, like gaudy or anything like that. I just wanted it kind of nice and subtle, but I did want it to have kind of a nice little shine to it. So I'm using mercerized cotton today. It is Lion Brand 24/7. And this is charcoal, silver, and now I'm using pink. But this is a 4 weight cotton, 100% cotton, machine washable and dryable. I'm using a G6, a 4 millimeter hook. So once we get done with this second row of single crochets, we're going to start back with our crisscrosses. And I'm going to do that for the rest of the tote bag up. Hopefully I made it tall enough because I am kind of winging it. I was trying to envision like how tall that's going to be. I guess it's going to be, I guess I could measure it to see. This is just kind of like a little purse tote, I guess. So right now we are at about 6.25 inches. And let's go from the gray to the gray. That would be a more accurate measurement because then we could add our pink on there and know what we're going to have. So 6 inches. So each section is like six. So it's about 3.5. So uh, where am I at? God, why am I having to do so much math this morning? Where are my friends that do math for me? Boy, that was whiny. What's 6.5 plus 3.5? 10 inches? So it'll probably be like 10, 11 inches, maybe 12 inches tall. So it's not going to be super huge. I'm just kind of making like a smaller like tote bag. And the bases that I use are 14 by 2, I think it is. The mods will pin about, or 12 by 4. I got it backwards. 12 inches by 4 inches are the bases. When you put in on this on, just put in what Leah has shared with you right there. They'll come right up. They have different colors. So yeah, I think this bag, by the time I get done with it, it'll probably be like, I don't know, 10 to 12 inches tall. And then I'll just put some small handles on it. It'll just be kind of like a small little carry bag. And I don't know, I'm just kind of winging it. I'm not really following a pattern, but the pattern I'm doing is I'm doing 2 rows of single crochets, and then I'm following with crisscross. So once I get back around, we're going to do those crisscrosses. I'm very excited to see how the pink crisscrosses look. Crisscross makes you want to jump, jump. Yes, I'm using US terms. Thank you, Miss Leah. Veronica, good morning. Welcome in. How is everybody today? It's Wonderful Wednesday. We're going to be working on another tote bag tomorrow. We're going to be working on Leah's new pattern. For those that did not hear, it is called the Choose Your Own Adventure tote. Her pattern drops today. So I'm very, very excited, of course, to support my friend. I have made two of her bags so far. The Choose Your Own Adventure part indicates you can change the stitch that is done in the middle of the bag. So we're going to start one from the very beginning tomorrow on the live. And of course, I won't have enough time to finish the entire thing, but we'll go as long as I can tomorrow. And we'll be live tomorrow, both on TikTok and on YT. So, anyhow, it'll be a nice little tutorial for those that need a little video help with the pattern. Um, I, of course, don't read patterns. So I got the inside scoop from our dear friend. I'm like, okay, can you tell me what all this means? So I pretty much have her pattern memorized at this point. I've made a couple of them and it's a really fun bag to make. So we're going to do the mesh version tomorrow of her tote, but this is what it looks like. I'm super excited. Um, Paloma, I'm actually thinking about using the straps that Leah did for her bag on this tote that I'm making right now. So just kind of some smaller straps. This is the Choose Your Own Adventure bag. And you can see the thing I really like about this bag is it has a nice sturdy base that you crochet. And so the reason why it's called the Choose Your Own Adventure is because the bottom stays the same and the handle stay the same. The part that you get to choose is what you want in the middle. So when she releases her pattern today, this is the mesh version. She also has a granny stitch option and she also has a V stitch option for the middle. And she is making more adventures for us to choose. So there's going to be more chapters to come where there are different stitches that we can switch out for the middle. So it's really cool because honestly, it's not that hard of a pattern. You can memorize what it is and then be able to change out the stitches as you go along. So we're going to be doing this tomorrow. Here is another example with a different color, but I'm actually thinking about doing these handles for the bag I'm working on today, the pink one. So basically I just did single crochets back and forth and then I outlined all the way around, both on the inside and the outside. That that's how her pattern is written. She didn't write it to do the outside, but I like to do that on my handles. So again, this is her pattern is dropping. Be sure and check out her page. There'll be more information coming, and she will pin all the information of where you'll be able to find the Choose Your Own. I think it drops at noon Eastern today, if I'm not mistaken. She will tell you. But isn't this fun? This is just a different colorway. So again, same base, mesh stitch, same top, and then you can do the either granny stitch, V stitch, or the mesh, whichever you choose. And then we're going to have more options to come. I'm like so excited. And I've been a little in her ear about, oh, did you think about this stitch? Oh, did you think about this stitch? So Leah's probably over there like, girl, stop with all these stitch recommendations. I know the whole crochet dictionary. So it's our friend right here, Arlene, right here, Leaping Llama. She's got the little dumpster fire in her picture, little red hot chili pepper over there with the green and the flames. That's her. So that's the pattern we're going to be doing tomorrow from the very beginning. So anyhow, I'm super super proud of her, and I can't say enough good things about my friend Leah. She's amazing. She does both crocheting and knitting. So if you're knitting, she has a whole bunch of patterns that you can choose from, and she'll share with you all those details. But I like to do things just kind of off the cuff. And of course, everybody's like, is there a pattern for this? And I'm like, no, there's no pattern. Wheeler, patterns, Wheeler's bad. My friend Leah, on the other hand, how many times am I going to say my friend? I sound like a broken record. I'm just proud to have a friend. What can I say? Anyhow, she does the whole enchilada, unlike me, who just comes on and it's like, oh, yeah, here's this stitch I'm doing. Is there a pattern? No. uh, Leah's the good child. Hey, Sparky. Good morning. I know. It's getting deep in here, right, Sparky? Okay, so hallelujah. I'm done with my single crochets. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch. And what you need to know about this next stitch we're going to do, this is the crisscrossed double crochets. Hey, Janine, welcome in. Good morning. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch here to my very first stitch. And now we're ready to start our crisscross double crochets. Okay. So when you're doing your crisscrosses, they are worked in pairs of two double crochets. And what you do when you're first starting is you have to skip a stitch and you work into the second stitch. Now, because I am starting a brand new row with this is where my first stitch is. So instead of working directly into that first stitch, I'm going to slip stitch over to the second stitch and I'm going to do my double crochet there. So I'm going to slip stitch. Then I'm going to come back to that one that I skipped and do that. Okay. So into this very first stitch, I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Now, if you do not like to do a standing double, I would recommend doing a stacked single here. You could also do a chain of 2 or you could do a chain of 3. But for me, we're going to do a standing double. So, Mr. Thumb, are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to pull my yarn up tall to about the height I envision to be a double crochet. I'm going to twist my yarn counterclockwise towards me and back away from me, and I'm going to put a little twist here in my yarn. I'm going to go down through that space and I'm going to pull up a loop so we have 2 loops on our hook. Then I'm going to yarn over. Now, instinctively, you're going to want to pull through both these loops, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull through one because I want to keep both these loops on my hook. Now I'm going to twist my hook down and away from me. So twist it backwards, away, and I'm going to twist forward and towards me so that we keep both those loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. That is my standing double crochet. Now we need to do a crisscross double crochet. So I have to go back and pick up that stitch that I missed that is actually right in here. Okay. So I'm going to do another double crochet, yarn over, go down into that space, pull up a loop, and I'm going to pull this up nice and tall because we want it to be the same height as our other stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Well, that doesn't look like it crisscrossed very much. That looks like a very not nice stitch, and I don't like how that looks. So we're going to frog that. Let's try again, April. Let's try again. So I think what happened is my stitch actually, I slipped over a little bit. So let's try to put it over here a little bit and get that stitch in that actual stitch there. Pull up nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there now is our crisscrossed double crochet. So the first one looks a little wonky, okay, because I did that standing double. As I do more of them and from here on out, it'll look a lot nicer. So this is the stitch that we first did, this one right here. We're going to use the next 2 stitches. So we're going to use this one and this one. To make your crisscross, you're going to skip the first one and we're going to do a double crochet into the second stitch right here. We're going to go under both loops. So yarn over, double crochet under both the front and back loop, pull up. So we have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there is our double crochet. Now we need to crisscross this. So we're going to go back to the stitch that we skipped. We're going to work under both the front loop and the back loop. So as you're looking at your crochet stitches, where are my scissors at? How am I supposed to do stitch talk without my scissors? Okay, don't worry. I found them. Rest assured. So as we look at our crochet stitch, this is the one we just finished. We're going to be working into this one right here. As we look at this stitch, we have the front loop that is facing us and we have the back loop that is away from us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook under both of those loops and we're going to go all the way through to the other side with our crochet hook. Okay, so yarn over under both those all the way through, pull up a loop. Now, as you come out of this stitch, what's going to happen is that first loop that you're pulling up is going to sit very snug to your work. And in fact, your hook may be sticking up here in the air like this. So it's very important when you do the crisscross stitch, you need to pull the tip of your hook up and you want to bring it almost level with your other stitches that you have here. Okay, so you're going to make this one very long. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. Okay, so if you make that first stitch too tight, what's going to happen is it's going to cause your stitch to really scrunch down and look wonky. So here we go again. This is the stitch that we came out of. See how our yarn is coming out right there? We're going to look for the next two stitches, 1 and 2. We're going to skip the first one. Into the second stitch right here, we need to yarn over. Let me zoom a little bit. And we're going to do our double crochet right there into that first stitch, or the one we skipped. Skip one into the next. Now, we need to come back and pick up this stitch that we skipped. Okay, so we're going to yarn over and we're going to come down. We're going to bring our hook down and we're going to slide underneath both the front and back loop. We're going to go all the way through, pull up a loop. Now, this is the critical part as you're making this. We're going to pull this up. I literally lift the tip of my hook up so that it becomes flat. What you're doing, see this leg of this stitch right here? You're making sure that one is nice and tall. This is very important when you're making the crisscross. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So here we go again. This is the one that we came out of. Skip the next one, into the next, double crochet. Okay, now we've got to come back, pick up this little guy that we missed. Yarn over, bring your hook down, slide under both the front and back loop all the way through. Pull up our loop. Again, lift the tip of your hook up, bring that stitch up tall. Yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So that's how our crisscrosses are looking now. They just add a little texture to the bag. So yeah, chase your cake. There's no pattern to this. I'm just kind of doing stitches. Okay. So if you're just joining, I started with one of the bases and the bases have holes like this. Okay. And I worked a slip stitch into the base and then I attached all my stitches to that as I started working. And then I did some rows of single crochet. And then I started with my pattern. Okay. So again, I'm not following about a pattern. I just am using stitches. So I did 4 rows of single crochet here. And that allowed me to get kind of over the base. Okay. So if we look on the inside, this is what you're looking like. So we wanted to clear the base so that it could start working its way up. So I did my 4 singles. Then I am doing a crisscross stitch, crisscross doubles. Then I'm doing 2 rows of single crochet and another crisscross. So basically it's a 3-row repeat where we do 2 singles, crisscross, 2 singles, crisscross, and so on. And then I did 3 rows of that with the charcoal color. I did the same with the silver color, and now I'm doing it with the pink color. So at the end, I'm going to end up with about a between like 11 and 12-inch bag is kind of what I'm searching for here. So it's not a super huge bag. It's just kind of a small little tote. Okay. So the mods will share where you can get these bases. At some point, we'll come back and we'll do a tutorial of how to work with these bases. But right now, I'm just kind of showing the stitches. Okay. So we've done our 2 rows of pink single crochets. Now I'm doing the crisscross. As you're making these bags, guys, you don't have to follow a pattern. Okay. So a lot of times we get really hung up with that. In this case, it didn't have to be a crisscross. I could have put a V stitch right here and had a very similar effect. I could have come and I could have put a puff stitch along here. I could have done a puff stitch, skipped a stitch, another puff stitch, and that would give it like this little puffy look to it, right? There's lots of possibilities as you're doing your crochet. So this is why it becomes really good to just learn crochet stitches. Once you understand how stitches are made and constructed, you can kind of make up your own stuff as you go along. And what you have to learn is how the stitches are used and like what increments. So when I do a crisscross double crochet, I know that I'm using 2 stitches. So as I'm doing my single crochets, what does that tell me? If I have to do 2 stitches, it's telling me, "Hey, April, if you're gonna do the crisscross when you're doing your singles, make sure you have an even number of stitches." So as I was working on my very base back down here, that's right, I got my little counter, right, and my little stitch markers, and I counted, and I made sure I had an even number of stitches as I'm working this. That allowed me to work the crisscross double crochets. Now, as I'm working up, I'm not counting these single crochets. However, once I get this first row of crisscrosses done, you better believe it. I'm going to count how many crisscrosses I have, and I'm going to make sure it matches how many crisscrosses I have here. So that is my count as I'm doing this. Okay. So that's how come a lot of times people will say, "Well, what pattern are you doing?" It's like, "Well, I'm not doing a pattern. I'm just making it up." So here we go with the crisscross. We're going to skip the first stitch. In the second stitch, again, double crochet. Now, guys, if your count gets off, most likely where that error is going to occur is right here, because as you're looking at your stitches, you will mistake this as your first stitch instead of this one. Okay. So because we're coming back and picking up that extra one that we're skipping, make sure you realize this right here is the first stitch. This is the one we're skipping, and then into the next with our double crochet. So if you find that your count is off after you get done with your round and you're like, "Oh, shoot, I have an extra stitch," make sure you go back, and that is the first place I look to see if I messed up, is right here on these stitches, because it's easy to mistake. Paloma says, "I've done that." Yeah, we all have, Paloma. Anybody who's done the crisscross, I guarantee you've done it, because you'll actually work another stitch into that where you don't mean to. So this is the stitch we came out of. Skip one, into the next, double crochet. Now, once again, we need to pick up this stitch that we skipped right here. So we yarn over, bring our hook down. I slide under both the front and back loop all the way through, grab up our loop. Again, very important when you're doing the crisscross. At this point, we need to pull our top of our hook up. You want this stitch coming out to be longer. That leg needs to stretch out. Yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. If you start making this stitch and you're like, "Wow, these are looking really wonky, very scrunched," is how I would describe it. Again, it's probably because you're not pulling that leg up tall enough. So skip one. Let me show you what I mean by that. Double crochet into the next. Okay, now we need to come back and pick up this stitch that we missed. So yarn over. Again, I'm going to go under both the front and back loops. So as we look at this stitch right here, we've got two little bars on the top. This one that is facing me is called the front loop. This one that is away from me is the back loop. We're going to go under both of those with our crochet hook. Okay, so, and all we're doing is a double crochet. Yarn over, slide under both the front and back loop all the way through. So we're encasing that first one in our stitch. Pull up a loop. Now, when you first come out, this stitch right here, this loop that we're pulling up, sits very tight to our work. So if at this point you yarn over and pull through two, and then yarn over, pull through two, what's going to happen is this stitch that we just made is going to be very tight around the first stitch that we made. So see how this one is much looser and looks a little nicer? It's because we pulled that leg up nice and tall. So if you find that your work is looking scrunched and your stitches might be even leaning a little to the side like this as you're going along, and they're not sitting up tall, that is probably where that is coming from. So let's frog that back. And let me show you again how we're pulling that up nice and tall. Okay. So when I crochet, guys, my hook, I tend to set it vertical, excuse me, not vertical, horizontal to my work. Okay. So as we're making these stitches, my hook kind of lays across the top is how I hold it. And as I'm working this, I yarn over again under both the front and back loop, and I pull up a loop. Now, there are different ways that you can do stitches. A lot of people will actually work in this position right here with their crocheting. Once you understand your technique, it will make it easier for your stitches. The way that I do mine is I like to pull the tip of my hook up. So what I'm going to try to do, I want to flatten this hook out. I pull this up, and what it does is it causes that hook to level out so that my stitches will be even and consistent. Okay. And I do this second nature. I'm exaggerating this here on the live so you can see what I'm talking about. As I'm crocheting along, it's not that exaggerated. But what we've done, this loop right here has stretched up taller now so that it is the same size as our other loops. Then I yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. Okay. So it gives it a lot of nice leeway in here, and it makes it so that when you encase that first stitch that you're doing, it's not putting added tension on it and making it look out of shape. Okay. So very, very important as you're doing this. Skip one into the next, again, double crochet. Now we're going to come back and pick up that stitch that we missed. So yarn over underneath both loops all the way through. Again, pull that stitch up nice and tall and finish your double crochet. Good morning, Angel. Welcome in. Corazon, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follows, friends. If you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time, and I typically stay on between an hour and 2 hours every day, depending on what I've got going with work and everything. I do work full time. I am a hobby crocheter. We are live this morning both on TikTok and over on YT. My handle on YT is Wheeler 8 Acres. You can always go back and rewatch the lives over there at any time if you have to hop off the live to, go to work, get the kids to school, make breakfast, get in the shower, all those good morning activities, because I know I'm on pretty early. So as you're looking at my YT, there are several categories of videos. There's one that says shorts, there's one that says videos, and there's one that says live. So this morning, after we're done with our live over on YT, you can go over there on that tab that says live, and you can watch the replay of how we started this morning. So, anyhow, feel free to check that out. There are always live events made both for TikTok and over on YT, so you can see what's upcoming as well. For tomorrow, I'm going to be doing another market tote. And it's going to be a different one that our friend is putting out her pattern today. Leap and Llamas has a brand new pattern that she's releasing. So we're going to start a brand new bag tomorrow using the Choose Your Own Adventure tote. I'm very, very excited about it. So be sure and sign up for that event for tomorrow if you want. There is one already made over on TikTok, and I still need to make the one for YT, but it should be a fun day tomorrow. The other thing I have to do for tomorrow, I got to pick out my colors of yarn we're going to do for the new tote bag. But I'm very, very excited about her new pattern. So it'll be kind of fun. Shelly asked a great question. Um, she asked if we are going to line the bag. I just accidentally answered a phone call and then I hung up on him. Oops. I meant to hit the decline button and I answered. Y'all ever do that? My bad. Sorry, whoever called me. You should know that I'm on live right now and you shouldn't be calling me. Unfortunately, it was probably a customer. um anyhow, where was I? I got totally distracted. Oh yeah, Shelly with her question, are you going to line the bag? It depends. Sometimes I line them, sometimes I don't. It depends on how ambitious I am. It definitely was not Mr. Wheeler. It was not Mr. Wheeler that called me. But you certainly could line your bags for sure. Whose pattern was the market bag you showed yesterday? Danita, the bag I was working yesterday was by Stephanie Zed. Zed. Stephanie Zed was who I was working on yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on Leapin' Llama's bag. So I know a lot of bags. I'm like the old bag lady right now. What can I say? I'm just really enjoying making bags. So anyhow, hopefully they'll call me back and leave me a message of whoever it was that called. So yeah, Stephanie Zed has a great YT tutorial. Just look up Stephanie Zed. Um, it was the bag you had yarn in. Um, well, Danita, let's go through the pile and you tell me. Okay, so we had this bag right here. It could have been this one. This one's still in the works. This one is, it might have been this one. This one is the Granny Rocco bag. Hang on, my yarn is tangled up. I'm on a short leash here, y'all. What's happening? Okay. This bag is the Granny Rocco bag by Island Crochet. Her name is what is her name? Davina Rocco. But this is the Rocco bag. Hang on, let me zoom out. Am I able to zoom out? Yeah, the Davino Rocco bag. Here's another one of the Rocco bag. This pattern, yes, thank you. Leah just said what it is right there. You have to look on the E place for this pattern. This is not a FREE. But if you want to make the Rocco bag, it's really a pretty pattern. This is this size I did, Danita, is extra large as you're looking at the pattern. Okay, so this is the Rocco bag by Island Crochets. So I'm working on those. Yeah, it's really pretty. Passionate Kelsey makes this one a lot, and so I was curious about trying it. So I did splurge, and I PAID for that. So this is the bag we're going to be working on tomorrow. This one is the Choose Your Own Adventure bag. This one is FREE. This pattern drops today by our friend Leap and Llamas. So we're gonna do this one. There is a pattern that's going to be released. The Choose Your Own Adventure is going to drop at noon Eastern time today, and Leah has penned right here. This is who made this bag right here. So I'm very excited. We're going to do this tomorrow. You're the bag lady, and I'm the hat and pierogi lady, right? There's always something, Kelly. Pierogi sounds good. I'm kind of hungry. I might have to get off the live so I can go get some breakfast. I'm hungry, y'all. I could probably use some more coffee before I go to work too. Anyhow, here's another example. We're going to do this bag tomorrow. Okay. This one is Leah's pattern. Isn't it beautiful? This is the mesh option. The reason it is the Choose Your Own Adventure bag, the bottom stays the same. It's got a really nice sturdy crochet base. And we have up at the top the handles. Okay, so the handles and the bottom stay the same in the pattern. The part that you choose your own adventure is what you do in the middle. So she's written it right now 3 different ways. This is the mesh option. There's also the granny stitch option, and there's also a V stitch option. Tomorrow when we do it, we're going to do the mesh option. Okay, and she is actively working on more adventures for us. So soon to come, well, maybe not soon, no pressure, Leah. She's like, girl, stop. You're putting me on the spot here. She will be having more adventures for the middle. So she'll be releasing more chapters, if you will, of her pattern where there'll be even more stitches that you can choose from. Can you show the Passion Kelsey bag? Yes. Oh, maybe not. I don't have one of those handy. I have the one that we started. This one is the mesh market tote that Passionate Kelsey does. This one is by Stephanie Zed. I haven't finished it. We worked on this one yesterday. So it's a little different. This one is all mesh the whole way down. So this is like a great beach tote if you will. But this one is by Stephanie Zed. There is a full YT tutorial of this on Stephanie Zed's page. So check her out. The mesh market tote. I really like all those bags. So anyhow, back to the one that I'm working on this morning. So the bag that I'm working on today, guys, I just made this up. There is no pattern. I started with a base. Okay. When you get the bases, they have holes already punched in them, and you work your crochet into those. One side has the little pegs. So that way, when you sit it on the ground, you can, it sits up off the ground. Okay. So I worked a slip stitch into those holes, and then I started working single crochets. So as I worked the single crochets for the very beginning, I think I worked like 4 rows of single crochet as I was trying to get up over that base. Okay. So this is the inside of the bag that you can see. So it's a little more sturdy for a market tote. After I did the single crochets, then I started doing my crisscross double crochets. So crisscross, then I did 2 single crochets again, followed by crisscross. So basically, I'm doing like a 3-row repeat. Crisscross, 2 doubles, crisscross, 2 doubles, and so on. I did that 3 times. This is in the colorway charcoal. Then I switched to the silver color and I did 3 groups of that. So now we're on to the pink. The pink is how I'm going to finish the bag, and I'm going to do the handles in pink as well. This yarn that I'm using today is um, Lion Brand 24/7. This is mercerized cotton. And a lot of people are not familiar with mercerized cotton. So today we have done a lot of explaining of mercerized cotton. And if anybody has a question about that, I don't know how many people have been here for a while hanging out, or if you're new to the chat here, but this is mercerized. So it's a little different cotton. It is 100% cotton. It's still machine washable and dryable. So anyhow, it's a really nice yarn to use for tote bags if you're doing something that is like um, a tote, a home decoration, like a little bowl or something that you're going to sit next to your nightstand, or maybe something to put your keys in, anything like that. Mercerized cotton is great for like home decor. It's also great for backpacks, purses, handbags. Backpacks, anything like that that you're going to crochet. Mercerized cotton has a little different structure and feel to it than unmercerized cotton. Unmercerized cotton is more soft. So when you think about, and also absorbent, unmercerized, if you think about like, oh, I want to make a washcloth for my kitchen or a towel for my kitchen, that is when you want to use your unmercerized cotton because it's more absorbent. Also, if you're going to make a wearable, so like if you're going to make a bralette or some kind of clothing article that's going to sit on your skin, you want that cotton to be a little softer so it's more comfortable and not like itchy or irritating, right? So in that case, you want to use your unmercerized cotton. It's just a little softer. But this yarn is great for the, hey, Dolly, good morning. Welcome in. Um, let's see. Shamia, I always mess up your name. I'm so sorry. Shamia, I think is how I say it. I just have to say, you've woken a monster with these bags. I want to make them all. I know. I got myself a little bit burned out on making baby blankets. Long eye. Shamaya, that's right. I'm sorry. You're probably gonna have to remind me that again, so, because I'm doing my best, but I keep messing your name up. It's hard. Um, so anyhow, yeah, these bags, I kind of got myself burned out a little bit with doing like baby blankets and stuff. And so I had to kind of change it up. So I've been making um Kelly, you're going to have to stop talking about this food, girl. You are making me hungry. You are making me hungry, my friend. Anyhow, sorry, squirrel, total squirrel. um I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I'm burnt out on doing blankets, so I just have been making like hats and tote bags and stuff. But yeah, these bags are a lot of fun. So I'm doing kind of some of my favorite bags to make. Uh, but anyhow, but it happens all the time with my names. Okay. I would imagine it's probably one. I bet people really screw up the spelling of it too. Oh, thank you, Dolly. I appreciate that. So guys, I'm making a tote bag today, and we're just kind of I'm not following a pattern. Okay. So all we're doing is we're alternating between our we're doing two single crochets, then we're doing a crisscross, and we're just kind of following that. So after I get done with this crisscross, I'm going to go back to this two single crochets. Carla asked about the mercerized cotton yarn. Let me tell you about that in just a moment. I want to do a few more stitch talks here as we work our way over to the side here. I just want to talk through a couple more of these crisscrosses and kind of walk through how to make these. Nancy, the bottoms, Jen, or one of the team members here will share where you can get them. The bases that I use, guys, they are 12 inches by 4 inches. And they come in different colors, and they're just very handy to have if you want to make like a backpack or a tote bag or something like this. Obviously, you don't have to use something like that. You could do a crochet bottom as well. But the shapers are really nice, and I enjoy using them sometimes. Now, I will say when I first start using the shapers and I'm crocheting into them, it is hard on my hands. Particularly my wrist. They are pretty difficult to work with. So You'll have to kind of get used to them. So maybe get one and try it before you get a whole bunch. Okay. So let's talk about this crisscross. And then as we're working on the single crochets, I will explain a little bit how to do the where you can get mercerized cotton and the difference between the cottons. Okay. So when I'm working the crisscross double crochet, that is what this is called. This stitch that I'm making right here is worked with 2 double crochets. So if you want to make the crisscross stitch, you need to remember to keep your row that you're working into an even number, because you're going to take 2 of those stitches to make the crisscross. So what we're going to do is we're going to, this is the stitch that I just finished right here. Okay, so part of it goes here. This was the original stitch that we did. So this is where I was coming out of. We need to skip one stitch, and then we're going to work into the next bags or into the next stitch. So we're going to skip this one, and we're going to work into this stitch right here with a double crochet. So yarn over, just a regular old double crochet. I'm going to work under both the front and back loop, pull up my loop. So we have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay. So that is the first half of our crisscross. Now we need to work our other half of the crisscross. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we want to work into this stitch that we skipped, this little guy right here. So as you're looking at your stitch, you have the front loop that is facing you and you have the back loop that is away from you. We're going to work under both of those stitches with our double crochet. Okay. So yarn over again, bring our hook down, slide underneath both of those all the way out the other side. What we're trying to do is we're going to encapsulate that first stitch we made inside this new stitch, and we're going to pull up a loop. Now, very important, when you first come out of this stitch, the leg of this stitch right here is very short as you're pulling this out. What you have to do, see how my hook is sitting up here in the air kind of at an angle? You have to pick the tip of your hook up, and you need to stretch that first leg, this little leg right here. You need to make that stitch longer when you're making the crisscross. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So what that does is it helps to make it so that it's not so tight through here, and it helps that stitch to really look really pretty. It's a pretty little stitch. A lot of times as you're making this, you'll find that it's kind of scrunched up and almost leaning to the side. And typically when you find that happening, it's because you're not lifting that tip of your hook up enough. So here we go again. This is where we came out of. Skip one into the next, double crochet. Now we need to come back and pick up this stitch that we missed. So again, under both the front and back loop, yarn over, bring my hook down, slide under both loops all the way through, pull up a loop. Again, pull, lift that tip of your hook up, pull that hook up, stretch out that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're kind of doing this in slow motion, guys. As you're doing this stitch, you're not going to have to be so dramatic with it as I am. Okay. This is just to kind of explain to those that have never made this stitch before. So again, skip one into the next, double crochet, come back, pick up this one that we skipped. So yarn over, right down under both loops all the way through, pull up that loop. Again, pull that nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now, once again, skip one into the next, double crochet, and pick up that stitch that we missed all the way through, pull up a loop. Again, lift that hook up, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Hey, Sarah, good morning. Roma and Ashley, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Sarah, we are making a tote bag today. We're working on a crisscross double crochet right now. We're alternating 2 rows of single crochets followed by a crisscross. So we're getting ready to start. We're almost to the end here. We have a few more crisscrosses to talk through. Then we're going to switch to our single crochets. So again, skip one into the next, double crochet, and then come back and pick up this one that we missed. Yarn over under both the front and back loop all the way through, pull up that loop. Again, you want to make sure that this stitch becomes a little taller here, this little leg. We're going to lift up that crochet hook, bring your hook so that it sits flat to the top of your work, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. Skip one into the next, double crochet, and again, crisscross. You can see as I start working these faster, I don't, it's not so enunciated with pulling that up. It's just kind of what I do when I'm trying to talk through that stitch. So as you're making it, you'll just kind of pull it up and you'll know where to stop after you get the hang of it. So this is our last one. Again, double crochet, come back and pick up that stitch that we missed. Again, double crochet. And now we're ready to join here with a slip stitch. So as we're coming up on here, if you find that you are missing stitches or you are short stitches, one place I want to point out where you could possibly be missing a stitch. Let me frog this back a little bit so we can see better. As you're constructing this stitch, remember we were skipping one into the next. As you are skipping your next one, a lot of times what will happen when you're making this stitch, instead of skipping one and working into this stitch, what you'll do is you'll think that this one right here is the skip one and you'll work into this stitch. And what you'll do is you'll end up working back into that stitch that you came out of. So if you find that you're making your crisscrosses and at the end you are short stitches or you have too many, what most likely has happened is you have mistakenly used this as your stitch that you've skipped, because when you're working this, because you worked the skipped one second, a lot of times you'll miss that this was actually the first stitch. Does that make sense to everybody? So when I'm going back, if I find that I've made an error, that is the first place I start looking, and you will see that they get kind of close to each other. So as you're looking at it, instead of skipping this one, I skip this one, go into this. This is if you make an error, okay? As you're looking at these stitches, what you will find is you'll see one that is sitting very close together like this, because inadvertently I have come out of that same stitch that we made. Okay, so if you find that your stitches are off, that is the place to look. It happens frequently when people are making the stitches, to myself included. So remember, this is the one we finished. Skip this one, then into the next one. Okay, so really keep an eye on that, because that is where you will find the mistake will occur. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch that we made here. And then for the next two rows, all we're going to do is single crochets. So I join with a slip stitch there. I work back into that same stitch that I just came out of where I joined, and I will make my single crochet, if I can. Let me try again here. There we go. Single crochet. And then I'm just going to work a single crochet all the way across. Now, very important as I'm doing this, I tend to space out where these stitches are. So Leah, I will use a stitch marker right here. Round of applause for April using her stitch marker to mark my very first stitch out. And we will continue working those single crochets all the way around. So I've had a lot of questions today about the cotton that I'm using, because as you are looking at this cotton, can you see how it kind of has like a sheen to it? It kind of has like a little shine, and it looks a little different than normal cotton that you may have been using. Okay, so as I'm making these single crochets, let's, for the last time here, because I have to go to work, let's talk about the difference between mercerized cotton and unmercerized cotton. Leah will share where I'm, what yarn I'm using. This is Lion Brand 24/7 mercerized cotton. It is 100% cotton, and it is machine washable and dryable. So it is just regular old cotton. The difference in this cotton is how it is manufactured. So if I pull this yarn up close and show you guys how it is constructed, you can see it almost looks like kind of like a cabling of sorts of how the cotton is manufactured. So when you think about like your Lily Sugar and Cream, your I Love This cotton, yarns like this, see how it looks more like a twisted strand? This is called unmercerized cotton. Okay, so unmercerized cotton versus mercerized. The way to think about these is think about how your application, what are you using it for? Okay. Yes, it looks like I-cord. Thank you, Leah. It definitely looks like I-cord kind of. Um, the bottom, Betsy, is they call it a leather base, but I think it's actually like pleather, and it has holes punched in it. The mods will share where that you can find this, but I crocheted into that base to give it a nice sturdy bottom, and there's the inside right there of how it looks. That was for you, JT. And anyhow, very very nice bottoms for your bags or backpacks or anything like that. Um, so back to our mercerized cotton. Okay. It's a term that people may have heard, but are not really familiar with why you would use mercerized cotton. So the difference is in the manufacturing process. And basically, when you think about mercerized cotton, you think about what your end goal is, what your project is that you are making. Okay. If I am making something that is like a coin basket, okay, that's going to sit next to my table, I want something to have a little more structure to it. All right. That would be a perfect use for mercerized cotton. If you're doing a tote bag, if you're doing a decoration around the house, maybe you're making like a wall hanging or something like that. A cotton like this that is more structured will work a lot better for a project like that. Now, if I'm making something that's like a wearable, like a bralette or something like that, that's going to go against the skin, I would not use mercerized cotton because it does have a little more of a textured feel to it. I wouldn't say that it's per se rough, but it could be perceived as itchy or stiff or uncomfortable against the skin. Okay. So if I'm making something like that, I will use something like I love this cotton that is much softer. That is called a unmercerized cotton. So I printed out some facts. Let me read them for the last time today because I'm burnt out on reading them. But here we go from the top. Mercerized cotton is a stronger, shinier, smoother, and less prone to pilling or fading cotton. So they're both cotton. Okay. Unmercerized cotton um, is better for softer, matte, more absorbent, and better for washcloths and delicate garments. So, if you want to make something to go in your bathroom or your kitchen and you need it to absorb water like a washcloth, you do not want to use mercerized cotton. Okay, you want to use unmercerized. Mercerized mercerized cotton is ideal for durable, structured projects like bags and coasters. So that's what we're doing. We're making a bag today. Shemaya said, I'm using it for the top and handles of a market bag. That is perfect. I happened to pick some of that cotton up by accident. And so, yeah, that's a great way to purpose that and make it so that it was a happy accident now, right? That'll be great for handles. So, that is the difference between mercerized and unmercerized cotton. So, mercerized is best for bags, market bags, home decor, summer garments, intricate doilies, coasters, and jewelry. The pros of mercerized is it has a high sheen, which you can kind of see how my cotton looks shiny today, right? A lot of times when I'm working with my cotton, it looks like more of a matte finish, whereas this is kind of glossy. It's kind of nice, right? Um, it has vibrant colors, strong, less shrinkage, and it has less lint. Also very important, I think, with your tote bags and purses and that kind of stuff. Some of the cons for mercerized is it can be perceived as stiff, crunchy, or it may feel wiry to some. Now, for me, this 24/7 Lion, I really like it. It doesn't bother my hands at all. So, Hoblob does have mercerized cotton, which Shemaya mentioned. That's where she got hers. And so, anyhow, what my recommendation is if you're not familiar with mercerized, and you want to maybe dabble, maybe, stretch your crochet arms a little bit and take on something new, I would recommend going and feeling the cotton just so that you can kind of get a feel for what it is before you BUI. Okay, so the bottoms you buy, the holes are an even number. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to count that. That's a whole lot of counting, Nancy. Um, but even if it's not an even number, I will just add a I think the reason why you're asking is because I'm doing a crisscross, which we know I said needs an even number, right? And so the question is, if the base is an odd number, how do you deal with that because you wanted an even number? So let's say the base I end up with 117 stitches around here. Obviously 117 is not an even number, okay? And because I'm doing a even number crisscross, what I would do is I would just sneak in an extra stitch along the edge here. So instead of 117, I would do 118. So it doesn't really matter to me if if the bottoms are an even or an odd number. I would just add or subtract a stitch and make it whatever I want. Does that make sense? So it doesn't have enough bearing really to impact your project, I guess you could say. This is a 4 weight yarn that I'm using today, and I'm using a G6 hook. So one little G6 single crochet between friends, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. So just pop in an extra or remove one as needed. I typically will pop in an extra, so it just gives it a little more room as I'm working around. Eventually, guys, I will do a tutorial. I'll come on live where we do the base and all of that. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've had a lot of people ask. So anyhow, the characteristics of mercerized cotton is it is treated with a chemical bath, sodium hydroxide, under tension, which causes the fiber to swell and become smoother. So it is a different manufacturing than the unmercerized. It is a little more PRICEY, if I may say. So but it's really not bad. It's not that big of a difference. And I think if you're making a tote or something, in your house, a decoration or whatever, I think you might actually really like trying the mercerized. It might be a good thing to try out. So, y'all, I've yapped for 2 hours. I got to go to work. I got to go get something to eat. I'm hungry. Mama needs some more coffee. Remember, we will be back tomorrow at 7:30 Central. We're going to be working on a new bag. It will probably be a 2-hour live tomorrow as well as we're working on that. Special thank you to our moderators, Leah, Jen, everybody who's helped out this morning. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know these 2-hour lives are a lot harder to moderate and whatnot. So I really appreciate all of them answering the questions. I could not do this without them. So I really, really appreciate our moderators. They do a fabulous job, and I know everybody loves them as well. Tomorrow is a big day. Leah's pattern is dropping uh, tomorrow or today, and we're going to work on that pattern tomorrow. So it is a very exciting day for her. Be sure you're checking out her channel as she releases more information about that pattern. It is the choose your own adventure tote that we're going to be doing tomorrow. So I'm very, very excited. Over on YT, of course, I will have a link for you where you can find that so that you'll be able to get it. I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. It's hump day, y'all. Arlene, have a great day. Thanks for being here. Veronica, as well. All the friends, thank you all so much. I appreciate all of the love and support. Happy hump day, y'all. Bye for now.